Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We as human beings have to interact continuously, and wherever you are, it's not only important that you understand the verbal communication or the body language, but in case you can understand what's the real feeling and emotion of a person, you shall definitely be more successful. And I call it the open system to effective communication and understanding. Basically, communication is to understand. And understand what? Not only what the person verbalizes, not taking a person's statement at the face value, but to find it out. And many times, people don't speak their mind because of various reasons. The inhibitions can be not to display. Inhibitions can be a social ostracism, social boycott. It can be because of the social factors, because of the personal factors, and because of the psychological factors. But if you are capable, just two words used alone or prefacing a question can help you connect better with your co-workers, with your customers, with your boss, with your juniors, with your family, anywhere. Let's not forget that the language police has a point. And when I say the language police, I mean the language as understood by the psychologists and the students of the human mind. Let's not forget the words matter. And there are plenty of verbal habits or throwaway phrases can undermine your credibility and ability to communicate. You have seen many leaders, speakers saying, ha, I see, all those interjections. All those pauses show that mental vacuity and either a desire not to communicate or to suppress whatever comes to the mind and then to formulate something to communicate which they really don't want to. But here the purpose is to communicate and to comprehend the other person. So let's know those two words which inhibit our ability to communicate, but help us communicate better. I use phrase, this phrase of two words very often to find out what's the real there. When negotiations, I met a person, he said, tell me what you need as a CEO. Tell me more about the problem. When you say tell me, these are the two magic words. They are the open season to communication. A person is down and out. You go to him and ask him, well, what's biting you? What's your problem? The person would be hesitant. But you sit by the side of the person or stand by the side of the person and in a deadpan manner says, tell me, as if you have no interest in really knowing what he wants to hide. But you want him to tell what he really feels. And that, tell me, is the key to open the dark recesses of the subconscious and the unconscious. Whenever I have used these two words, tell me, people who were hesitant to speak out, they did speak out. They even gave out an expression to the negative thoughts which they would have suppressed otherwise. And that gave me all the time deeper insight into what they were thinking and what their priorities were. Say, I have gone to a client to get an assignment, we are discussing. And then I say, tell me, what's in your mind really? And not even that, just tell me. Well, he says, we want to do this. Okay, tell me. And then he starts telling. This neutral word, neutral phrase, can be used in many areas of life. As I said, you can use it with your family, you can use it in social circle, you can use it with your boss. I mean, the boss has something, and you say, sir, tell me, or ma'am, tell me. And then they'll tell you because you need to learn about their needs and views in the workplace. Same is in the social family. And when you tell a person, tell me, questions what you need to know, people would always open up. And you would find that you will find work easier with the people because then they are not inhibited. I remember, there was an associate of mine, and she would come early in the morning. The office opened at 9, but she would be there at 8:30, quarter to 9, or whatever. And I asked her, why are you? Tell me, why do you come early? Just tell me. She said, well, look here, it's important that I get home to my kids in the evening. So it's important to me that I finish my job and also look after my kids. So I come early, finish my job, and go early. Bingo. And that was when I understood, well, it's good to be not only to be punctual but to be early because then you have got a longer day, either to work or to go home. So you know more about the targets, what is important and what is not important. And once you start doing it, you would find it to be a magic. And you wouldn't believe how much more you would know because you understand what really is there. And then in the terms of negotiations, you are sitting there and you just say, the person says, you're having sipping a cup of coffee. And then you say, okay, tell me. And then the person starts telling without further prompting. People want to tell. People want to speak out. They are finding an outlet. But, as I said, many reasons, many causes inhibit them, obstruct them. So when you say, tell me, you're creating a crack in the dam and the water will gush out. And you would find the question arises why you would be asking me, tell me so powerful. I actually call this phrase, I'll call it like, when you go fishing, you cast a net over the water to see how much fish you can catch. This is exactly the net. And there are several reasons why it is effective. First is it gives the other person's view to you. When you say, tell me, either in an open ended manner or in a direct way, such as, tell me what you think the problem is. You are not saying what the problem is, what you think. And the people, when they start thinking, they'll come out with a reality. And they'll feel flattered that you're asking them what they think. And then, the other person is free to share the most pressing views without being influenced by leading questions. Many times I've seen, people come to me and they ask a leading question. Don't you think this should be like that? This means they already want to hear and what they want to hear is implied in their question. You have got to learn other person's definition of a situation or a problem. And many times you see this is not what you think it is. As a matter of fact, this opens new vistas of communication, of establishing relationship. And another thing is, have you ever seen, at least I've observed, when I ask people, answer yes or no, 90% cases would be yes, because people don't understand. They say it doesn't matter, especially in webinars. This should never be asked. But when you say, tell me, then you get the real question answer. If somebody says, do you think this should happen or not? You say no or yes, depending on what comes to your mind. But when the person says, tell me, then you want to expound, you want to explain, you want to give expression in a different manner. And that is important. And when you ask a tell me question on a variety of questions, you would find situation opening for you. Almost everybody I have met and talked to in my almost 80 years. And when an in-person event opened up and gosh, a person says, gosh, we are not doing anything for our folks right now. What can you offer? And you say, tell me. The persons have something in their mind and they start telling you. And that's a mutual win for everybody. It's a win-win situation. Tell me is a phrase which is not just a prompt. It compels the other person to open up to you. It's the broadest possible question to give you the most possible and appropriate information. And that gives you the best possible insight into the challenge you're facing. And once you have an insight, isn't it easy to get the things done and sorted out? As a matter of fact, with this phrase, tell me, you're opening up new boundaries. When you say to a person, let me know what you think, then the person wants to modulate his response to what you expect to hear. A boss, say you are a boss and you won't get work done. The employee has done the job, but maybe he has something. And he goes to you and say, okay, something is bugging you. And he, even if something is bugging him, he will not like to say what it is for the simple reason he doesn't want to annoy you. But when you prompt him saying, tell me what's bugging you, then he feels that the boss is in a receptive mood. This addition of the word tell me to what's bugging you is the real thing. What's bugging you? It can be a question, it can be an exclamation. Tell me what's bugging you is something which is prompting, opening up the gate. And that is what is required in human communication. Normally, people are very hesitant. They say, well, why should I ask? Okay, if it's none of your concerns, you need not ask. But if it's a matter of concern to you, as whether it's a social setting or in an office setting or in a business setting, then you've got to know. A customer comes to you, say you are a salesman, and a customer comes to you and says, I need this thing. And the moment he says it, you either give it to him or you can say, tell me why, tell me what you need it for. And he comes up. Have you heard that story of that man who got a job as a salesman and somebody came to him to ask for a tablet for his headache? And he was telling him, he said, why are you, tell me, why are you having the headache? And he told him, I'm having a headache because I'm tired of sitting at home. He said, well, why don't you go fishing? That's a good idea. So why don't you give me a fishing tackle? Well, you don't need a tackle, you need worms and net and everything. Okay, give it to me. Are you going alone? Or would you tell me, would you not like to take your wife fishing? Yes. So why don't you buy one for her? And then, why you need a boat? You don't want to fish sitting on the shore? Yes, I want to buy a boat. Show me the boat. And from boat and everything. So the whole thing, the guy who had come to buy a painkiller tablet, a Tylenol and an aspirin, ended up buying, apart from that pill, the complete fishing equipment, including a boat and a trawler and the nets and everything. And when the boss said, even the boss asked, did you sell attended only one customer? He said, yes. He came for a ordinary headache pill and you didn't do anything. How much was the sale for? And the boss was expecting a few pence, a few pennies. And he said, well, I sold him equipment and everything worth about $100,000. What? The boss was astonished. So tell me, open to this extraordinary deal. And that's what really happens. So if you want to understand people, if you want to really communicate people, if you want to establish a bridge between the people, use this phrase, tell me. And believe me, it's open sesame to understand the hidden crevices of the mind and the human heart. And that's the best thing you can do as a human being who wants to interact socially, professionally, in all aspects of life. So tell me what you think. Thank you.